Have you ever felt that you have big dreams but lack the energy to make them come true? As if there were an invisible wall between you and everything you want to achieve? You say you're going to start tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. You want to write a book, get fit, learn something new. But instead you scroll through your cell phone screen or watch TV. If that sounds familiar, calm down. You're not the problem. Most people believe that laziness is a fixed personality trait, something that is simply part of who they are. But that's not true. Laziness is not who you are, it's just a habit. And habits can be changed. Think about how many times you've been paralyzed because a goal seemed too big. You wanted to save money but found it impossible to cut costs. You wanted to be healthier, but the thought of working out every day was daunting. Your brain isn't against you. It just wants to avoid pain and seek comfort. But there is a way to trick this natural mechanism and make progress without needing endless willpower. Small steps, small victories. This is the secret that separates those who achieve from those who only dream. Think of how we climb a mountain. You don't jump straight to the top. You take one step, then another, and then another. The same goes for any goal in your life. Imagine a writer looking at a blank page. If he thinks about the whole book, he'll stall. But if he decides to write just one sentence, something changes. He writes one, then another. And before he knows it, he has a chapter. It works the same way for someone who wants to learn an instrument. If you try to play a whole song on the first day, you'll fail. But if you practice a single chord today, then another tomorrow, over time you'll become a master. The great procrastination trap is thinking that we need to make big changes all at once, but this is an illusion. The real transformation takes place in small actions, repeated every day.
So what can you do today? Something so small that it's impossible to fail? Do you know what the biggest mistake of anyone who wants to change their life is? Believing they need motivation. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions are fickle.
You can wake up inspired today and tomorrow want to stay in bed all day. If you rely on motivation, you'll be stuck in an eternal cycle of ups and downs. The secret is not motivation, but action. Søren Kierkegaard, the father of existentialism, said that life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be lived. In other words, there's no point in waiting until you feel ready. You have to start, even if you don't want to. And how do you do that? With small, consistent habits, the human brain works like a river. If the water follows the same path every day, it digs a deep bed and it becomes difficult to change direction. Your habits are that bed. If you always procrastinate, your brain has already programmed this path as the default. But here's the trick. Just as water can be diverted, your brain can also be reprogrammed. You just need to start with small daily changes. This is where the 2-minute rule comes in. Want to write a book? Write a sentence. Want to train? Do a push-up. Sound ridiculous? Good. Because what matters is not the size of the action, but the fact that you break through the initial barrier. The hardest part of any task is simply getting started. Once you've taken the first step, continuing becomes almost automatic. It's like pushing a ball downhill. The initial effort is great, but then it rolls on its own. So stop now and think, what's the smallest step you can take today? Something so simple that there's no excuse not to do it. Maybe it's opening the book you want to read, putting on your sneakers for a walk, or just turning off your cell phone for 5 minutes. Do it now, not tomorrow. Do it now. We've reached a crucial moment. So far, we've talked about what to do to overcome laziness and break out of stagnation. But there's another side to this problem, one that you may never have realized. And this is where the turning point comes in. The issue isn't just laziness, it's fear. Fear of not being good enough, fear of failing, fear of starting something and discovering that you can't do it. Cornel West, a philosopher and social critic, explains that modern society creates an illusion of unattainable perfection. Social networks only show people's successes and never their mistakes. This makes it seem as if everyone is winning except you. But that's a lie. Every great writer has been afraid of the blank page. Every professional athlete has had days when they didn't want to train. Every entrepreneur has hesitated before launching a project. What sets them apart is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of it. Think about it. What fear is holding you back? And more importantly, is it really real? Or is it just a reflection of your mind trying to protect you from discomfort? The fear of failure can be paralyzing. But you know what's worse than failing? Never trying. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor of Stoicism, wrote in Meditations that the only thing that really belongs to us is our own mind. What happens around us, success, failure, praise, criticism, is not under our control, but our response to it is. You can choose to act regardless of fear. The difference between people who achieve their dreams and those who get stuck in procrastination is not talent, intelligence, or luck. It's consistency. It's the small daily actions that shape the future. Imagine if you had started a year ago. Where would you be now? Now think about the future. Where could you be in a year's time if you started today? Remember the metaphor of fire. Your dreams are like a flame. Every little action is a breath that keeps that flame burning. If you do nothing, it goes out. If you feed it with small daily victories, it will soon become an uncontrollable bonfire. But that only happens if you take the first step. So here's the challenge. Choose a minimal action now. Something that takes less than 2 minutes. Write a sentence. Read a page. Do a push-up. Send that message. But do it now, because the perfect moment never comes. What you do today is what defines your tomorrow. If this message resonated with you, share it in the comments. What's the first small action you're going to take now? Let's build this path together.